All right, folks, welcome to round 7 of coverage here of SCG Columbus. I'm Dom Harvey, I'm here with Tim Schultz, and we are getting towards the end of modern play here on Saturday, trying to see who is going to be in great shape heading into Sunday. And in the feature match area this round, we have a little bit of the old and a little bit of the new. So we have Hammer once again, I believe, in the hands of Travis Brown against, and chat, get ready for this, Mono Green Tron, the hero or the villain of the modern format, depending on who you ask. And then John Saga continuing its solid run in the tournament so far in the backup match on the back table, facing off against the reskinned John deck of today in Rakdos Scam. So a little bit of variety here, but also some of the players in the decks that we've seen do well over the course of the day.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Justin, right? Yes. Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
I am excited for it. As much as chat pretends to hate Tron, I think that this is kind of a lot of fun. Coming into the Pro Tour, a lot more Tron than I expected. What are your thoughts on the new modern Ring Tron?
Tron is bizarre in the sense of it feels like every modern it comes out of nowhere effectively, does very well, and then almost immediately vanishes as soon as that happens. And that basically happened here once again. We're at the Pro Tour, a specific list of Tron did very well, and then after that, whether it's online or in paper, wherever you look, you just don't see that much Tron anymore, despite that. So I think it really is just the diehards at this point who have been playing Tron for years and who do think that Tron is the hero of the format who have stuck with it, and one of them going to be under the bright lights here in just a second.
Currently 6-0, so hopefully we get to see some large plays. Tron feels like Burn Delver to me. It's one of those staples that I accept as being in the format.
Yeah, it's maybe the deck with the longest history in Modern at this point. You know, you could have bought into Tron over a decade ago, and those cards could still be doing good work for you. There's been a little bit of shift in the roster, you know, actual Khan Liberated, which used to be like the flagship play of the deck. Often you don't see that card at all, or you see it in small numbers these days. So how you use that mana has changed over time, but that basic philosophy of just get to Tron, cheat out something big and colorless, like that is still going strong after 10 or 11 years now.
And something big and colorless is that one ring.
Yeah, which is small enough actually that you can cast it when you don't have Tron, and that's why it has been such a massive upgrade for the deck here. So you know, John here on the right had Tron entering, but even if he had a slower start, or if there was a Beseju breaking up the Tron or something, you can just play the ring on turn 4 and get back into the game that way.
And a Warping Whale from John trying to exile the Ornithopter in response, but there we go, fix that.
So not in fact equipped to the Ornithopter. Colossus Hammer will be. So a nice sequence there from Travis, you know, being able to win that fight. But John now gets untapped with full Tron, excuse me, and an added ring. Being sacrificed, or green, or sometimes black these days in the list that have main deck dismember, which was one of the trends coming out of the Pro Tour. Going to be green in this case, letting Sylvan Scrying find the second Urza's Tower, so actually jumping up in mana on that exchange. We'll see what John has to do with all of that. Oblivion Stone would be the perfect follow-up here.
Oblivion Stone would be good. Ugin, a sweeper that's seen a lot in Tron, or at least used to be seen a lot in Tron. Not as powerful against the mono white hammer deck with only one colored permanent.
And there is the OG, Khan Liberated.
Going after the hammer instead of the Ornithopter, trying to protect himself from another Steel Shapers. Or, sorry, Surge. I think I see copies.
All,
go ahead.
all Travis can do is activate Inkmoth Nexus and attack Khan down to 2. So that was the window. You know, John was Defenseless Slayer. If Travis had the perfect follow-up sequence, John was just dead to the Inkmoth, but instead gets to untap with the Khan now on top of the ring and everything else. So we're going to see John had to take game 1 here before too long, I expect.
I know. Oh no. That's unfortunate. It's not my favorite. Could be better.
And I think I've got 2 more copies of the ring in John's hand. Is that?
Could be, and this is where you see arguably the big flavor fail of the ring and the way it's implemented, where often you cast your the one ring, and the card you most want to draw after a few turns is another copy of the one ring. So we might see John reset his ring here, get another turn of protection, and then start cycling through cards once again. Expedition map going to find Basic Forest, suggesting maybe he's drawn the Besage or something already here. Or just wants to cast an Ancient Stirrings or something like that.
Yeah, a couple of full art cards in his hand. Maybe what I'm thinking is a one ring is a Besage. Maybe it's one of these 3 cards. Seeing the Ring Wraiths or the Nazgul. No, the Ring Wraiths are the ones that have the flavor text with the 7 dwarves where you're allowed to play more than one. It was so close on the one ring. The flavor of playing the 2nd ring, playing the 3rd ring, like it's just not there for me. And O-Stone here. O-Stone. Oh gosh. Oblivion Stone.
And Whopping Whale just as the backup. Yeah, so Travis, once again, showing more patience here than I would have, but I expect to see both players packing up their cards here in a jiffy. Does find Stoneforge Mystic for the follow-up hammer, but we have the ring protection again here, so going to have to wait a turn on that one as well.
Would you like to? Yes. Both triggers on that one, so I can't miss it.
So calm down, but the O-Stone can clean up any attempt at some big attack next turn, while keeping the ring in play, thanks to it being indestructible.
Sigarda's Aid being exiled. There isn't even a Sigarda's Aid hammer animate line. Card in hand, I believe, is the Paradise Mantle.
He does have 2 more Aids in play. He was actually flooded on those over the course of the game, which may be why his start was a little slower than he would like.
No, these aren't. They don't. Right? Just the Uno. What a mystery could be. SCG. It's a good one. Not bad. How result?
It was Khan, the Great Creator, often the most important card in the deck as it stands. Gets you the flexibility for whatever you need from your sideboard, but also sometimes that static ability, like against Hammer, just poses what their deck is fundamentally trying to do. Also has that Warping Whale in reserve as well, so really can finish the job here however he pleases.
I won game 1. Did you go?
Declaration of having won game 1, and I think that John might have just gotten ahead of himself. Just a second there. Game wrapped up, but not quite over. Travis Brown got some work to do. Fortunately, being on the play now for Mono White has to feel good. Old Infect style aggro line.
Yeah, I'm gonna save myself some psychic damage.
Being the Mono White version, no Spell Pierce, which would have been nice to have in this matchup, more angled towards the creature-centric scam Rakdos matchups.
No, because ETB.
What do you think we see in Stony Silences? No? What does Travis have for all the artifacts?
would be bold to try and stony silence your own hammer deck, but I typically in mono white you can't really interact on the stacking quite the same way. So your best bet is to go fast and some protection spells maybe to if they have the one dismember or something to try and punch through that. But for the most part, you want to do your thing, keep it consistent, and try and fade their best draws, have your own fast draw, especially on the play. Versus if you have the blue splash, maybe there's more room to try and pick a fight with Spell Pierce or something like that.
Right online, like, oh man, these Katana Seas were so great, but they get grimy real quick. I was like, oh, I don't know, I'll give it a try. I was like, wow, these are great.
Confirmed to get grimy.
After 4 rounds, I'm like, Jesus, these are so nasty.
They are real good.
Coming in at a Lord of the Rings, the new Reprieve Remand
I hate it. I'm like, super
has been kind of fun. I've enjoyed that card a little bit. Interesting to see if that's enough of a tempo play or if 2 mana is too slow for the hammer deck.
I think AMC is now run by
People have tried it, certainly, but as you say, 2 mana is a lot in a deck where one of the big edges that Hammer has is your curve is so low, you get to use most of your mana on most turns, and often holding up 2 mana for that kind of effect. Like, you force them to play a bit behind schedule, but you're also doing that to yourself in the process, so it's a bit self-defeating in that regard.
He's got some Dragon Shield mats that do the same shit.
Yeah.
This is just, like terrible.
like, these are just so great. They just got so grimy.
Either a heavy sideboard or John just shuffled his entire sideboard into his
Yeah, maybe.
No, it's just
green
like
deck there.
Oh,
You see sometimes some players will shuffle in their entire board and then board out 15 to obscure how many cards are actually coming in and out. So pretty common tactic, especially at the higher levels of play. We are going to check in here on our backup feature where Dro Yang, who won, I think, a lot of fans over the course of the morning and afternoon here with the John Saga deck, currently putting the herd on Rakdos Scam out of Justin here on the right. A chunky Tarmogoyf alongside a Renin 6.
Certainly a fan, beautiful deck, and as you had claimed, new versus old, Jund versus new Jund.
SCGCON. Okay, so this is another land that can pair really nice with Renin 6 over the course of a longer game here.
With Pioneer season winding down on RCQs, I am excited. I will put this deck together, this deck that Yang has. Everything about this I get excited over. Renin 6, Akedza. Oh man, this is what I want to be doing in Modern.
There's the Mishra's research desk, of course, as well. So Yang really has everything going on, like all the threats on board, more ways to find more cards. Even have Gigant there, just kind of vibing there, almost off screen as the companion. And we're back on our main table here for game 2. Travis Brown going to be on the play, see if he can have a faster hand that can close the deal.
One of those guys that just always had the
See Sagard as a sort of salvation.
Can't imagine that hand's ever winning.
But going back to... I see that dice ticking up. It looks like we're on at least the second mulligan here.
Yeah, I think I see a 3 there. If that's a mold of 4, and John's keeping on 7, Tron on 7 is never...
Hey. 7 mana, 7 cards.
If I'm sitting in Travis's seat, I'm nervous.
Whether it's a mold of 4 or a mold of 3, either way, that's bad news for the Travis Brown fans out there. I know there are many of those, myself included. And at this point, there's no room for anything extraneous. Any card that casts spells or contributes to your main plan in some way, that stays. All of the surges and the pithing needles and stuff like that's got to go. We just gotta we have one lane for this game. We just gotta drive fast down it as much as we can.
There's way back into it. Esper Sentinel's not a bad spot to start. A lot of early plays from Tron.
Yeah,
Getting that
which
Thali next.
from John's side, if you kept on 7, you got a fast start. You might decide, actually, I kind of want to play it slow a little bit because why feed Travis cards back that can maybe stitch a fast hand together when, turn 4 Tron against a mod 4, probably just as good as turn 3 Tron against a functional 6-card hand.
We will.
Stoneforge Mystic fetching up a hammer with 1 card left in hand.
All right, all you.
This could be the beginning of the end. Unfortunately, Warping Wheel, a powerful card that Travis will have to play around.
And I think here there's no room for playing around stuff, really. You just have to shove against an opponent who has the first 2 Tron pieces, kept 7. You see the writing on the wall a little bit. Yeah, we got to do our thing.
And I think it's there.
Okay, so Sagada's 8 and the hammer. So yeah, we're putting John on this 1-turn clock. Hard to complain about that. And we see the Pilling Needle too, so checking, I think, if there might be some case for do you needle the Chromatic Sphere, if that's the thing you could do. Would strongly recommend against doing that, because it doesn't work, so just going to go for 12 instead, guarantee a card back from this Esper Sentinel, and just make John have it.
Do what I can.
It did look like there was a copy of the ring. That sounds like Tron,
So I'm
and
assuming this was roughly what was going to happen.
the first ring is there. Travis draws his card.
Let's go green. Sure. I'm floating 2.
And now Travis has an interesting choice over what do you try to needle. Do you hit the ring? Do you hit Oblivion Stone, which would be one easy way for John to get back in it? Actually, some tough choices ahead here. Maybe it is the ring, given that you now see that second copy, but it could be Khan the Great Creator as well. Like Travis maybe has one important choice left, and he's got to get it right.
The Esper Sentinel doing its best impression, but is not on each spell. So every time that it's only the first non-creature spell, so John has paid the tax and gets to play through it with his near unlimited mana. Warping Whale. Wow.
I'm gonna find the token.
John discards the Warping Wheel to hand size.
Drop turn, trigger. I'm just going to front mana.
Oh no, is this?
I think this is it.
No, he's using
No.
the Warping Wheel to make the Scion. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
No, I feel better. I was just sitting here going, with Warping Whale and the ability to, again, I'm feeling confident about where we stand, but that,
Shocking for me. Zapped every turn.
this player mic's actually coming in pretty good. I should be listening as well as just observing.
Oh, okay, so we have the second Pilling Needle here from Travis, so gets to name, I assume, the ring, and then also his choice of O-Stone, Khan the Great Creator, or something else. So
Picking up
nice
on my
sequence.
newfound skills, I think I heard the Great Creator.
There are 2 things named.
yeah, so we can confirm that, and either Khan or O-Stone would be very tough to beat here. With Khan there, you know there's going to be the full 4 copies there, and it's... I mean, either one is going to be a massive issue. You just kind of have to play the numbers here. Hope that John has the wrong card for the wrong occasion. But these needles are not totally safe either. You know, John has access to stuff like the Seiju as well, so
No, I'm stupid. Hold on. You good?
the map being sacrificed here. Bit of a fake out with the basic forest. Gonna get just another Urza's Tower instead.
Yeah. Do we need to
Does Tron no longer run the one-off Blast Zone?
That one makes its way in and out of this. It would obviously be phenomenal here. You know, this is the best I would have ever seen it. But
Yep.
there is Ugin.
I mean, Lugan's not bad, but man, I saw Expedition Map crack. I was expecting something different.
And I will be twiddling my thumbs. Go ahead. No ginger brew?
Unfortunately.
So a lot of times I play with people that are less experienced or are coming into Magic, and I try and talk them through. And one of the ways I say is when you're building a deck or choosing a deck, you got to figure out, how do you want to lose? Do you want to lose being able to not cross the finish line, or not being able to stabilize ahead of your opponent? I think we get to see a fair amount of that here with the mono white and mono green Tron
Well, that's what we said.
versus the Scam and Jund, where the Scam really has that explosive start, where it has the ability to take down its opponent before too much is gone. Same with the mono white hammer, attacking in for 11 last turn. But getting to stabilize and do the powerful things like John gets to do, that's a different flavor of fun. The game can be played different ways, but when you're playing, that's the, I don't care how I win, I just care how I lose, and what losses am I okay with. I'd rather lose to Hammer than Tron.
I think that's a common sentiment if Twitch chat is anything to go by. Because Haywire might, excuse me, as either a needle answer or replacement. The One Rings, we don't die to that. Yeah, John just has to be feeling excellent here.
The Haywire Might with the build your own green mana sitting on top of the sphere.
Yeah, there's not that.
Crack sock. Seems good.
Just a neat interaction with Haywire Might is it does specify non-creature, so the
Oh, I'm sorry.
Manland Inkmoth Nexus is safe from Haywire Might, where the Saga is not.
Keep nothing, draw.
You might get to see the Ugin Ultimate here, which is one of those coverage bingo card squares.
Nothing like out of the door, right?
That's good eventually. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Next time we do this, we should pull up some actual bingos, because, man, that is a fun way to kind of
So much.
root for fantasy football style, different players to make either obscure or maybe non-optimal plays to cross something off a list. I volunteer as a contributor.
I imagine a hardcast Shot Typhoon would make an appearance there, you know, stuff of that nature. And Twitch chat needs no incentives to embrace weird games.
Good.
Save my friend. Upkeep trigger.
Looks like we are heard. Excellent. On the content creator front, there's a favorite of mine, Brian Koval, who has some opinions on Hardcast Shark Typhoon, where Twitch chat and YouTube comments seem to like it a little bit more than optimal gameplay suggests, or at least in his opinion, suggests should be completed.
My view would be that in most formats, just putting Shark Typhoon in your deck would be a suboptimal play, but that's one we can litigate, you know, whenever the next Legacy on here.
I activated the start of leave I have.
No, you're not. We've not. 11.
Ugin up to 12, getting that ultimate ready to fire off the following turn. And Travis offering up some content here, letting John go through those motions.
This construct is going to be big enough that O-Stone will come into question, because that is not a fresh One Ring. That is a One Ring that was never made.
Alright, so passive priority, Sage, make a mana.
Looks like a Seiju on the Ursa side. We'll have to figure out the timing. I would imagine it was before the trigger goes onto the stack.
Oh, really? One floating. Wait, how'd you know? Oh, you lost it. Maybe you play a lot of needles.
Yeah, I guess just aware of the possibility of a third pithing needle, which again, it's like you expect the first. The second one's a little unusual, but once you see the second, the odds of the third probably get a little bit more likely. So, wise to bear that in mind.
Yeah, grab that off of the SCG.
Looks like a Seiju as well as most.
Yeah, all right. Here's not what I want to name. Actually, you're at 7 there.
Third pithing needle it is. Oh, maybe.
7, no ring protection, correct?
Nope. The ring's been there for a while.
Just some math real quick.
Travis doing his best Reduke impression, playing the games out. I love this coverage. Is that a gingerbread?
1-1.
Oh, it sure is.
Cigar to Zaid?
There's no needle.
Hammer?
Wait,
No needle.
hold on.
That's fine. Retard.
Ah.
Oh wait, no. There's Colossus Hammer as the rear equip.
Colossus Hammer number 2.
Mulder 4, let's go.
Wow, did Travis?
What?
Huh.
We knew about one of them.
Should have held those.
Okay, Travis.
Well, that makes
John left that window open. John could have very easily locked up that game any number of different ways. And Travis showing the patience which I would not have had. I would have been out of the building by now. Travis stayed in that chair. He found the line. And yeah, we are going to a game 3 here. We have more content for all of you.
What a spectacular line, too. I'm sitting here toting John. Oh, man. Everything about that is fantastic.
And John, I imagine, has to be feeling like, okay, I let that one slip away. I can't let that affect my mindset going into game 3. You know, you got to rally, you got to get your head back in the game, and ideally play your best game for this deciding game here to decide who's going to be at 7-0 in a commanding position in the tournament.
And Dom, that was a mult of 4.
Right. Yeah, Travis just had nothing all game. I mean, he had a very good start for a multi-4, and then John had the tools to beat that, and it looked like that had actually happened, and then Travis had one more surprise up his sleeve there at the end.
Yeah, I'm curious about the Beseju on the Urza Saga line. It looked like there was a Beseju in response to the trigger to fetch up the gingerbread, so...
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to Beseju the Saga, that is literally the worst time to do it, is to chapter 3 there, so... Could have avoided that one.
Must have seen that wrong, but it looks like our players are off to a blazing start. Early pithing needle, a couple of Tron lands, expedition map in play.
And once they lead on Tron and into map, you have the needle. Very tempting to just fire it off on the map, hoping that is their one route Tron and that their hand doesn't really function otherwise. This is where the ring actually does a lot of work, because if the game's a bit slow like that, you can manually work towards just casting ring, and then that's going to get you to Tron at some point. But okay, so Nature's Claim attempting to take down the pithing needle, that's going to get Surge of Salvation. So that expedition map still out of commission for the time being.
Catching up to a little bit of a confusing board state, but it happens exactly as you just described. Turn 1 map, turn 1 needle. Interesting to see Travis play out the Colossus Hammer. Pure Steel Paladin in hand, do you think?
Yeah, that's usually what that signifies. If you think that you're going to be choked on mana at some point, then it can be good to run that out there. Maybe Forge New would make sense as well. And there's Haywire Might.
Haywire Might off of Beseju, so green mana, but Beseju being out of the running is not something I'm upset about. If I'm Travis's chair.
Yeah, so you see the Pure Steel Paladin there. Also see at least one more copy of Surge of Salvation, so can protect one of his permanents from the Haywire Might, from another Boseiju, something like that, but is choked on that white mana to get all those pieces moving.
You do not have no search. I swear to God. Alright.
So the issue here
It's like that
is
one was
Travis would love to be able to Saga for another white source like a Springleaf Drum, which, if he was able to make the construct, he could do. I guess you could get the drum, use a floating mana from Saga to animate Nexus, use that for the second white, play the Paladin, and then you have nothing left over, but you can then equip right now at the very least.
Cauldron completed hand as well. This one we're here for John, so I don't know how all in Travis goes with that first.
What's up? Oh, yeah.
Now, this is a great bait, air quotes, for the Saga. It's coming in, it's going to be at least a 4.
Yeah, this is the other route too, is just make a big thing, and then just kind of sit back. There's no need to try and do everything right now. Sit back on the other surge. Hope that that's what John tries to do, is unlock his map some other way or interact with you. And then next turn, you can go for the float.
19. Which members?
You will go to 16. I'm thinking
19. I gained 2 off Haywire Might.
Okay, cool. Or
Then mark you. I should get 22, 18.
yeah, it's okay. So 18. Killing the construct, right?
Haymire White was a really nice cost cut to upgrade.
Draw?
Surge of Salvation number 3.
Yeah. You got it.
Oh,
What is
brutal.
this?
John plays out 2 more additional copies of
That's the word I
Expedition.
just read.
That is just how we drew it up. Yeah, this is an unconventional form of card advantage, but one that certainly qualifies here.
I was talking about how I like to be in John's seats more than Travis, but losing to triple expedition map Pithing Needle, I don't know that I'd enjoy that as much.
White.
Paladin.
I'd like to equip my hammer.
I will equip the hammer to the construct.
Seems good. I have already just on there. What would you like to name?
I'll name Karn the Great Creator.
That is a card.
Mostly so I can just not.
Alright, and a Karn the Great Creator name here on that second Pithing Needle.
And I mean, let's see.
Not completely out of this with a couple of the board clears that are in John's deck. I mean, there are paths to victory, but
You got it.
Ancient Stirring, I don't know, is the... I'll have to find Tron lands here.
Okay, I like
So
that
thinking now, even if John does, let's say, top deck the third Tron land, does he have the tools to compete with this pretty scary board that Travis has put together already?
Go ahead.
Ancient Stirring's finding Warping Whale.
18. No. 2 shot.
Yeah,
This is
see,
good.
that's a card that would have been great a while back, but I don't know if it is right now.
It is not, but with the copy of the One Ring in hand...
No reason not to.
Oh, okay. Looks like Travis just tried to animate an Ink Moth Nexus.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 18.
Yeah.
Travis is going to get in. Oh, and that is
No!
get in for lethal with the 2 Pithing Needles. The construct
I got it in 3.
is big enough to get the job done.
We'll play game 2.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Travis Brown takes it 2-1 against John Hada.
Surges.
What a match. That game 2 from Travis was excellently navigated.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you need the opponent to make a mistake, and you need to give yourself a chance to capitalize on that, and also the patience to stick around to leave that window open. And all of that perfect storm came together there for Travis, and yeah, he stole game 2 out of nowhere, and then just had a pretty solid hammer draw, backed up by the needle in game 3, and yeah, Travis going to move on to 7-0. here at SCG Columbus. Then here on the back table, the hero of another group of viewers here today, Dro Yang, up a game with his John Sagamon deck, but on a precariously low 2 life against Justin Tripoli on Rado Scam.
You gotta land with any lands, right?
So you think that's a 6 or a 9?
Comes in on tap. Go ahead.
I see that little line, the bar under the 6. I'm going to assume it's a 6. 9-10 is actually possible, but it's pretty difficult. I don't think we've got any battles floating around in here.
At the end.
Any tribal cards.
Don't do it.
No, there is the one black-red battle that I thought would see more play. I think it's sack a creature, lose a life, sorcery speed. The backside's nothing impressive, but I was optimistic for that. Yeah, on the 6-sided dice, I probably agree with you that it is not a 9.
That too. If that dice was able to produce a 9, I would have follow-up questions about that.
That's a main copy of Goblin Summon.
And
Combat.
oh, is this Reflection copying Tarmogoyf potentially? Because that would be lethal. I mean, it would be lethal anyway, but okay, trying to copy the Goblin token, because yeah, either way it's lethal, and then okay, so Bowmaster, that's 2 blocks right there.
I'm at 1.
That is
So that
2
can jump in
blockers
front
and 1
of,
damage upstairs.
which means Orcish Bowmaster is now an out.
Land, yeah.
Some more top decks here for Justin.
This goes away, alright.
The Rakdos deck typically not playing.
There it is!
I'll be on the play.
Wow, okay.
Circus Ballmasters!
Really? Oh my God. Wait, how'd you know? Oh, you
Wow.
know. Yeah.
Solid timing on that one. So we will in fact have more magic for you right here, which was not a guarantee going as we head back to game 3 here between John Saga and Ragdo Scam. Nice little, top deck lightning helix moment there for the fans at home. And we'll see if Dro Yang can continue, showing the supremacy of the old school John deck over this newfangled Ragdo Scam nonsense.
And I am excited for it. I came back in. I was rooting for Yang. I do not mind that loss as much because this means more magic for us. Really nice peel from Justin there. What an exciting game.
I'd be mad if I was Yang as someone else. Great, more magic, right? And a nice little exciting moment there.
Looks like the apocalypse chromatic sphere.
I'm assuming that one is foil too, although it's hard to make out from this angle. Oh, but maybe no second land here for Yang?
I think you're right.
So if Tripoli can apply some pressure here, he might be able to just close the deal before Yang can get out of this bind. There is a turn 2 Voidwalker. That's a very good start.
This research desk can fix him a little bit better than the spear can. Unfortunately, it cannot.
Yeah, Desk goes to exile, reveals 2 spells, so would love to be able to Unholy Heat that Voidwalker or just do anything else, but just have to pass the turn instead. And looks like Tripoli is going to maybe win a much less eventful game 3 here if he has any kind of follow-up.
Well, research desk is live through this turn, so that Unholy Heat can clear one of the 2 Voidwalkers.
No, it's a second land. Okay, so we start with Thoughtseize. See Fury, Terminate, Bowmaster Bolt, and something else in there too. Looks like maybe Turak or Shieldred, I want to say.
It's like that one is awesome.
one issue potentially is those Voidwalkers sending everything to exile means if Yang does eventually land a Tarmogoyf, it's going to be a lot smaller than it would be naturally, but still big enough to cause some trouble.
I think it's a Phyrexian Metamorph.
I don't know. What's up? Oh, yeah.
Is that the new Dominaria printing?
Let's see what's exiled.
That would surprise me, but we're going to count it out.
Go ahead.
So I'd seen some fun answers to the Indomitable Creativity style decks, but this is a... That's a lot for a Tarmogoyf. So I guess the ideal thought is it comes in as a copy of Fury, but
Set.
getting down to 10, and we'll find out what this is.
Yeah, it seems like that's exactly the case. So going to be a second Voidwalker here.
Weird.
Worth noting, Yang had to play out the Boseiju there as a third land, but Metamorph does stay an artifact, so you can Boseiju whatever it ends up becoming. Unless it's a ring or something, of course.
He's got man under him now, so hopefully we can see a little bit of recovery. The explosiveness of the Rakdos deck is...
Seven.
Tarmogoyf currently big enough. Artifact, creature, land, coming in at 4 to beat Lightning Bolt. We had Fury in hand, right?
Combat. 13 to 7, is that right?
As pretty as Yang's deck is, I think that's a beta Bolt in Justin's, if I'm seeing it right. The color depth of the beta cards is amazing and has not been replicated, in my opinion, for a lot of the others.
Oh, this is not going to
Really unparalleled, yeah. So Fatal Push going after the fake Voidwalker copy now. If Justin has a card like Undying Mass, it can come back, but it would have to come back as something else. So the Tarmogoyf or even the Nihil Spellbomb, actually. And the Spellbomb, of course, preventing that from really being an option in the first place. So after this very awkward start, it was like Yang on the verge of stabilizing here. Tripoli does have the Bowmaster at end of turn, so down to 6 and then potentially down to 4. And with a Bolt, like we're getting awfully close to just coming up with lethal out of nowhere.
Yeah, Bolt not able to finish off the Tarmogoyf with state-based actions and damage-based removal. Is that a terminate there as well for Justin?
It is. So a pretty reactive hand, and the Bowmaster and its little lackey here is really the only threat in town at this point. But that might be enough. You know, Dwo is on the verge here of death. So this is Shadow Spear, which is very tempting, right? To try and suit up the Tarmogoyf and get a big life swing in that way. But if that fails, then Justin gets another clean attack in with both of those creatures, and suddenly things look very dangerous. So I like this line. You know, start by shooting down the Bowmaster, see what happens, and then we can maybe try and set this up over turn or two.
Getting in? Oh no.
Are we playing out the Shadow Spear here? We're cycling the Spell Bomb. Okay. Yeah, that does shrink the Tarmogoyf, so good to do that post-combat here. But I imagine we're just... Okay, no, we're just passing the turn again.
No, this is...
And there's the bolt to finish it off. Wow. Okay, so Yang off to a very unfortunate start. Seemed like he was just about getting back in it, but Triple E able to slam the draw shot there. So Justin going to move to 7-0 here at SCG Columbus. Dwovang very much in the hunt. Just one loss on the board at this point. Still in great position going towards the end of the day. That's going to do it for this round. We are going to send you to Anurag or to a break, depending on what he decides, and we'll have more Magic for you hopefully before too long.